a little bit different topic. We're talking about how do you know you're purchasing too much makeup and all the things that go along with this tricky subject. So let's go ahead and start the video. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So my name is Ashley. Once again, I have a doctorate in pharmacy, and that's how I go by Dr. Ash and her makeup. But please just call me Ash or Ashley. And eyeshadow is my jam. That is like one of my most favorite things to talk about here on my channel. But like I just mentioned, we are talking about something a little bit different today. I was like inspired by a couple things. I've been seeing a lot of videos like coming up on my YouTube feed talking about overconsumption, of course, talking about how, you know, people just buy all this massive makeup just to declutter it. And I kind of have my thoughts on that. I've also seen videos where, like, you know, other people are commentating on people's TikTok videos. It died a couple hours last night, but I heard it's back. I recorded on the 19th, so y'all are back in action if you're a TikTok person. And then, like, are you blowing your budget? Are you spending too much money on makeup? So I kind of want to dive into all these topics, and I am not the pot calling the kettle black because I have been guilty of this too. And a lot of times I talk about it with like my friends. I have done a video about this before, like, you know, money and makeup, because makeup is expensive. This is kind of like an expensive habit, even if you're a YouTuber, even if you're a person who is not on YouTube and you're just purchasing the things that we're recommending or we're showing, or you generally have an interest. It can be expensive, okay? So a lot of the lessons that I learned, thank God I learned them prior to getting on YouTube. So once I got on camera and I started doing this particular part of my hobby of loving makeup, then fortunately I was in check because I learned these lessons along the way. So I do have like my little notes right here, if you're wondering. So, you know, I'm just going to kind of go a backstory. I kind of often talk about, I've been loving makeup since I was a kid. My mother was really into makeup. She had like a huge makeup chest. I would play in it. Of course, like I would do like the Bonnie Bell. Remember like the Bonnie Bell and the lip smackers and all of that. Those were my things. And then probably when I got into like freshman year of high school, one of my friends put me onto MAC. Definitely did the lip glasses. I got into the pigments. I've always worked, so I've always had like my own job and my own money to pay for these things. And my mother was like, the first time I brought home a MAC pigment, she was like, "You spent $13 on this?" I said, "Mm-hmm." Like, and then the next day she wanted to borrow some or take it with her. And I was like, I'm going to a party tonight, so you have to take you a little bit with you or something like that. So, I mean, like I said, I've always been into makeup. So there was a period of time where I had enough makeup. I was into it. I had what I had. It was mostly MAC. That's what I preferred to use. Like, I wouldn't even touch Sephora. I was just like, MAC, that's my thing. And then after a while, I kind of just got bored with MAC. I just had what I had. I didn't have too many repeat colors like I have now. There were not eyeshadow palettes back then, so you were not like diving in and like this palette, this color story versus this color story. The only thing we had was like really some quads, and you were putting some stuff together. And then eventually I kind of got into Urban Decay. And, you know, eventually I discovered YouTube. So the way I discovered YouTube is when filling in your brows became really popular, kind of around the time when Anastasia was taking off with all the brow products, you know, the dip brow, the brow wiz, all of those things. And I would say that would probably be around 2015, 2014, maybe a little 2013. And, you know, I fell into YouTube, and I wouldn't say like the rest is history, but the rest kind of was history. So I started learning how to do my brows, like fill them in. What do I need to do? And then I started kind of like learning about Urban Decay, or not learning about them, I already knew about them, but I started trying Urban Decay, and I know they had the naked palettes, and they were the first people to have the naked palettes. So then I go on YouTube, and there's people talking about these naked palettes and like the ones that are about to come out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is the whole community, you know? And I started watching YouTube. I was consuming the content endlessly, like watching my regular TV, but I would have my computer on. I'm watching the eyeshadow palettes. I love to watch so many different people. And I will watch some of the same videos, just kind of like what we do now. Like you watch this person do this particular palette and so over here do the same palette also, but you love to see everybody's different experiences and takes on it. So what I noticed I was doing, because also there were a lot of white creators that I was watching, I was also buying some things that probably were not for me. So, you know, I'm watching YouTube. I'm like, oh my God, I want to get this product. I want to try it. Everybody's talking about it. So you kind of do fall down this little rabbit hole. Like you're buying makeup. You want to try it out. The formulas were different. They were amazing. You know, you had the color stories. You had the eyeshadow palettes. And then I wasn't wearing foundation back then. I didn't really start wearing foundation every day until 2021 or so. I'm 40. So mid-30s is when I actually started wearing foundation. I remember like going to Ulta and this woman selling me like Bye Bye Pores powder. And mind you, I'm somebody who's like pretty versed in makeup, you know what I mean, to a degree. But I wasn't really wearing foundation. And it was like an It Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores powder. And I bought it. Why did I buy it? I didn't need it. So like I was buying things that I didn't necessarily need outside of the eyeshadow, buying products that probably weren't really meant for my complexion, i.e. Hourglass back then, you know, just doing different things. And I was just like, you know, you're kind of going in this rut of consumerism versus like you're spending money unnecessarily. So I just really want to like give my backstory. So what I noticed was like, yes, I had my eyeshadow palettes and that's what I was most into. Then I was buying some lipsticks here and there and beefing up my lipstick collection and buying things, you know, 2 and 3 pieces at a time. Like you always hear me say, I'm like, I ain't fooling with these lipsticks. I do have a lot, but a lot of times stuff has come for over the year. Like my collection that you guys saw, it's no shame in my game. I almost have 300 eyeshadow palettes. I just did my declutter. It really wasn't a declutter. It was more like my eyeshadow palette collection. And I'm fine with that because I'm not done using some of these products, you know? And this collection I have built over time. I haven't just built it because I'm on YouTube. A lot of stuff I had prior to getting onto YouTube. So I was just like buying stuff and I was like, okay, I'm buying these lipsticks. I'm buying this powder, but I don't know why I'm buying this powder because I don't really need it, you know? Just kind of, I don't know if I was thinking I was being in with the in crowd, but I'm like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, they don't know me. I don't know them. Like, I know them in my head. You know what I mean? And it wasn't so much, codes exist, but it wasn't like these like to know it links now where like people are like, oh, I get a commission. It was just like Morphe was one of the big codes that was being pushed and maybe a couple other things. It's definitely not like how it is now. So I just think I kind of just got out of control. And, you know, things happen, they get out of control, but you have to know how to will it in and how to bring it back. So I will also say what kind of did me in and realizing I was spending just too much money across the board. So I'm buying the makeup that I'm seeing on the YouTube channels, right? I'm still purchasing clothes because I love clothes, okay? I love fashion. I got a bunch of stuff. I treat my $2 clothes like my $200 clothes. So I got a lot of stuff, okay? I'm traveling, like I'm taking trips with my friends, you know what I mean? And then, let's see, eating out and buying just random stupid stuff. Still eating out, buying makeup here, spending $100 here, $200. You know, all of it adds up. And I looked at my finances like, this is crazy. Like, yes, I'm still saving for my future. Yes, I'm still saving in other regards. But I'm like digging myself in a hole that I need to work my way up out of it because I'm also a Taurus. So we're also like the most complex people when it comes to money. Sometimes like we want to spend money and save money. Like if I don't have a certain amount like saved or I'm always saving or I don't feel like, you know, if I'm feeling like I'm living paycheck to paycheck, like that's a problem for me. I'm like, I cannot do that. So like I said, my finances were just out of control. So I just want to say, like, I've been there too. You know, you're buying stuff as formulas that you want to try, and we're all guilty of it. And then definitely, like, I come on here on this channel, I'm like, hey, you guys going to purchase it? I'm not telling you to buy anything, you know? Like, get what you want to get. You coming on here watching me for support is free. You know what I mean? You don't have to purchase. You subscribing, joining the family, all of that is free. But I think we all kind of fall down these rabbit holes. So how do you know too much is too much? I feel like everybody has a different threshold. Like, I can't tell you you have too much. You can't tell me I have too much. You have to kind of just do what is right for you. You know what I mean? You have to like take inventory. Do you have places to put all this stuff? If you don't have places to put all this stuff, if the clutter is over consuming you, then you might have too much. You know what I mean? If you have products that you haven't even touched, you haven't even thought about using, it's just going bad, and not because you don't have the intent, but you literally just don't know it's there, you probably have too much. If you're just kind of holding on things for like sentimental values and things like that, and you don't plan, you might have too much. So sometimes it's like we have to take stock. Like, am I interested in new makeup? Absolutely. But sometimes I have to say to myself, girl, you don't need that other store. Case in point, why I do not own the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. Is it gorgeous? Yes. It was one of the palettes I was like more so interested in. But in my soul told me, girl, you do not need to spend that $65. You have 4 other palettes in there that look just like it. If not just like it, very close. And then at the same time, Nomad Cosmetics came out with the Okobongo palette. Same type of story. Loved it. People were like comparing it to the Natasha Denona Yucca. And I'm just like, I need to be good. Stand strong, girl. Just stand up. Don't be weak in the knees. Like, you don't need it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to tell you what helped me to get my life back on track. And this is what I use. And I did talk about this a while ago, a couple years ago in a video. So I'm a single woman. I'm a retail pharmacist. So I do make a nice salary. I got low-key, between my main job and my YouTube, I got like 5 hustles. I really do. Like, I have some investments with my cousins, and we have a couple businesses. And between my main job and then here, now, granted, I don't make that much money from YouTube. Like, we can't quit nothing, okay? It pays for like maybe a couple tanks of gas a month, and that's only because I go to Costco. And I get good gas mileage, okay? Let's be clear, okay? In some months, I don't even get a payout from YouTube because I haven't hit the $100 quote. I'll be very transparent, okay? So, and that's okay for me. I'm here for the love of it. You know, like, yes, I'm starting to get more PR, which is, I'm really grateful for, because a lot of these are brands that I've been loving. I've been purchasing a lot with it. And I saw some comments about that. It was like, oh, same old looks and you get it a PR. Like, first of all, don't knock my hard work. Don't knock my hard work. When I look at other creators, and I've been watching them before I was on YouTube, and since I've been on YouTube, and I remember when they were like at my level, I remember when they were like, you know, lower than I am now, but they've climbed their way up, and now they're getting a bunch of palettes in PR. I'm happy for them. I'm like, because I know how much money, how much time, how much effort it has taken to produce these videos and to come here on this internet. You know, it's not for the faint of heart. But this is what I did to like kind of, and also I don't have any children. So that's another like, you know, major thing where my money, you know, pretty much is my money. I don't have, when I, like my mama said, like when I used to talk about one of my play aunties, and she'd be like, yeah, she got 2 cars because when she eat, her whole family eat. And I was like, well, you know, you got a point. So when I eat, my whole family eats. So, but this is what I do. I get paid every 2 weeks, right? So I save the money that I plan on saving. Of course, like prior to me saving my liquid cash, I have like my 401k coming out and things like that out of my paycheck automatically. And then I always make it a point to save cash. And I put some like in my more short-term savings, and I put some in my high yield savings account. And I do have access where I can kind of transfer it back and forth really quick. But like the percent you get in interest every month is crazy, like nowhere near what you'll get in your regular bank account. And I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a budget person, but I'm just telling you, I'm not like a budget expert. I'm just telling you what I do for me and what works and what gives me the flexibility to sit here and be like, I want to purchase these things, and I'm okay, you know? So I save my money. I pay my bills. I pay like everything that I need to pay within those 2 weeks. I also plan ahead for like what's coming up in the next 2 weeks or what I might have coming, like it's a bigger expense, in the next couple of months. And I like to keep a cushion in my bank account. So this is kind of like an emergency fund within your checking account that's not like your savings. And every time, like I read this article and I don't even know where it came from, and my friend said it to me, and like my whole thing changed. And it was like, pick an amount. And so she said you might start with $200 because maybe you're struggling to save money and you're just spending and spending. So when you get down to $200 or you're getting close to $200 in that checking account, you're done. You get no more activities. You ain't going out to eat. You're not buying no shoes. You're not buying no makeup. You're not going out here. You're done. And then you could just kind of increase it. So sometimes like I have this cushion, and sometimes it's larger than others. Sometimes it's smaller than others, kind of depending on what's going on throughout the year. And sometimes I'm able to build it up more. And then sometimes it's like depleted a little bit. I'm like, okay, we got to inch it back up to where it needs to be. And it really helps because like if I have a $200, $300, $400 emergency, I don't have to reach into even my short-term savings to solve it. I have it right there in my checking account. So like I always know like, so basically I have my cushion, paid all my bills, I've saved my cash money, and then this is the amount that I have to play with. It works out. So whether I'm going to purchase some clothes, whether I'm going to get my nails done, well now I've been wearing press-on nails. So I'm happy to save that little money. Like let me tell you, I'm like, whoo. Whether I get my nails done, whether I go out to eat, if I decide I want to buy an eyeshadow palette, I'm like, I have the flexibility to do everything. It's better for me to operate this way. And I'm like, okay, this is my cushion. And sometimes I have money to spend and I'm like, I'm only going to try to spend X amount of dollars and make my cushion even larger and maybe just put that extra money into my savings account or pay off a little bit more extra debt because I don't need it, or save it for maybe another month because maybe I'm going on a trip or something like that. And I can use those funds versus just spending to spend, because I'm like, oh, I have it within my budget that I built, So that's what I do that really has helped my finances and helped me stay on track, even running this YouTube channel. So I just want to be like really transparent because let me tell you, it don't matter how much you make, that chunk will go fast. Like if you are not watching your money, like I literally just cut my Netflix down. I was like, we're going to watch some commercials because $16.99, y'all lost your mind. We're going to go down to this $6.99 or whatever $7.99 plan is. We can have some commercials. It ain't that many, you know what I mean? So things like that, like it could just go so fast. Also, like as far as just consuming the makeup, things that I do sometimes use for my larger makeup purchases or even clothing purchases, like when I buy certain pairs of shoes or like when I buy work shoes, like those gym shoes tend to become pretty, high in money because I stand up all day on like concrete floor. Now we do have pads and all that, but at the end of the day, I'm standing up all day. I need good supportive shoes. So I do. I know some people are like, I'm not using, PayPal and I'm not using Afterpay. I do because I'm like, hey, it's going to come out of my cash. I'm not putting it on my credit card, or I'm like, I could pay $50. $70. I try not to actually even go over an amount where it'll be more than $50 every 2 weeks. So, and I allow myself not to have more than maybe 2 going at the same time. That's how I did Christmas gifts. I started shopping a little early, but I did like the pay in 4, and I was like, okay, I'm done. This has cost me like maybe $100 to $200 every couple of weeks out of my budget. But I got what I needed, stayed on track, and did not have to worry about putting anything onto my credit card. But you got to be smart with Afterpay because you can fall into those tricks because they are really banking on you not to like make those payments, not to be on time, not to have the money, or you to blow it off and think it's not important because they're not running your credit immediately, but they will come back and bite you. And then next thing you know, like all of your available cash to spend is tied up and paying off these things. And that's one thing I don't like. I'm like, let's free up all my money so my money can be my money and not to go to anybody else. So when it came to makeup, I was like, oh my God, I'm just buying so much makeup. It's like every release, every week, it was just out of control. So things I stopped doing, pretty much. I don't really go to Sephora or Ulta, y'all. I go to Target. I don't really go to Target like that too much anymore either, because you know, you just go to Target and you're gonna spend money, and you go in there without a plan sometimes, and Target just gonna tell you what you need. And Target has a really nice cosmetic section, and then the Target I frequent usually go to also has the Ulta. Now the Ulta products don't really like, it's like whatever. I really don't even go on that side, but you know, you're browsing through all of the drugstore items. They have pretty extensive, you know, selections now, like the lip bar. This is actually the lip bar I'm wearing right here, which is Hot Mama. And you know, like now you're just picking up a couple of things because you're like aimlessly shopping. Like luckily, even at my retail pharmacy, I really don't buy anything in the store too much anymore other than like some snacks. I don't go and look at the cosmetic section where I work and I'm just like, ooh, I get a discount. I don't do it. So I stopped going to like Sephora and Ulta because I was bored, or because I just wanted to look around, because that just promotes buying stuff. Like you want to go in, of course you're going to shop. And I'm not going to say I never do it, because there is a time, like I went in to get a brow gel and like re-up on that. And I ran into like the e.l.f. Camel Bronzers, which I'm wearing now, which I have been wearing. But it was $6 or $7. But I was like, I just purchased those two things and I was out. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's just so easy. They got the gondolas and displays and it's over here. You're like, oh, this is cute. And I'm looking at my Juvia's Place and all the other stuff I can't get at Sephora. And I'm like, oh, this is good. Like you're just picking up little things. And next thing you know, you're like, you spent 60, 70, whatever money. And then same with Sephora. I don't usually go in there a lot either. I usually kind of shop online if I'm going to buy one or two things that I need, or maybe I'll do like the same day if they have a promotion with the same day shipping is free and I can get it that day. Sometimes for the Sephora sale, I do like to go in there and I set a budget for the Sephora sale. You need to set a budget, because let me tell you something. Even I got mad I wasn't Rouge this past couple of years, but I was like, oh, because I want to shop first. But I was thankful. My bank account was thankful. What happened? One of my friends that was Rouge, like, gave me a code that I was able to use. And now I was able to get that same amount of money off. But then I did end up hitting Rouge, like, within that purchase. But I was shy of it when that's both of the sales that happened last year. Like, it took me to after the fall sale to even hit Rouge. So I stopped shopping at Sephora so much, because now, as you guys know, my attention for makeup usually is in the indie world. You know, I'm not buying too many eyeshadow palettes or eye products that are serviced at Sephora. So like foundations and things like that, like, yeah, my eyeshadow collection is big. It's, I don't know what, I've had it, I joke about it, but that's one of my main focuses on this channel. So I feel like that's big, but I feel like I don't need to have like 10 and 12. Well, I might have like 10 foundations, because I have like 3 that I can wear when I'm deeper in the summer, and I have like 3 or 4 that I can wear now, and a couple like off or whatever's. Not too many concealers. And I'm just like, that's a good number. Like, plus my skin is dry, as you guys know. So I'm like, some of this stuff is just not going to work for me. And I understand that now, where I'm not just buying every new thing. Like, oh my God, One Size came out with something. Oh my God, Precious Hall came out with something. Oh my God, Danessa's coming out with something. Like, okay, you got to pick 1 or 2 items that you're going to be interested in, and the other ones got to fall to the wayside. Like, I've been wanting to try Bella Beauty bar forever, but like when they come out with something, it's something else that's grabbing my attention. Or I've looked at my collection, I'm like, well, I don't need to use this, buy this, because this is kind of like the same color story. And I just got this and I haven't even had a chance to play with it. So that's how I kind of operate now. I kind of take a step back and I'm like, am I going to use it? And I know my friend Beauty and the Friends, she gave herself like 10 questions that she's going to ask herself when she gets her makeup collection, you know, when she buys things. And I know she's kind of doing like a thing, like if she brings something in, she got to take something out. And I'm not saying you have to do that, but you have to figure out some rules and some things that make you okay and comfortable. Like at this point, I got enough makeup brushes. I'm not doing it. You know, I did get a set here and there, you know, like if it's 1 or 2 things that are special, okay, fine. But just buying brushes. I have enough brushes. Like I sent it to my friend who I work with who loves makeup, okay? And she's buying stuff from Sephora and Ulta too or whatever. But I sent her all my brushes when I watched them, and she was like, I was like, yeah, girl, this ain't even nothing. But she also does understand I do YouTube, so I'm going to dirty up a lot of stuff. But I stopped doing that, and that was like a game changer. So now when I do go into Sephora or Ulta with maybe a friend and I'm browsing and I happen to pick up 1 or 2 products, guess what? I don't feel that bad because A, I got my little budget and I'm like, okay, I can spend X amount of dollars within these 2 weeks until the next time I get paid. And then I'm like, I haven't done it in a while. So I don't feel guilty because I'm not in here every couple of days or whatever and shopping online and constantly looking. It's freed it up so much for me. Also, something that did not work for me, and you have to question yourself, and it works for some people, but this just did not work for me. Nomad did not work for me. And I did my Nomad before I went on YouTube. The Nomad, it did not work for me because I'm still on the Instagram. I was still following Trim Mood and everything like that. And literally everything that I wanted in that month time that came out, the day, when I tell you the day that Nomad was over, the next day, I went to Sephora and spent $250. I was like, what was the point? What was the point? I need to exercise moderation because am I going to want new eyeshadow palettes? And plus now I'm like operating from like the YouTube stance. Am I going to be bringing new things to the channel? Yes. So that's why I don't do no buys because it just did not work for me. I'm like, I literally went in there and bought everything. Things also I learned that I was like, okay, I can't not do. So when like, especially when I was doing ColourPop a lot and ColourPop first kind of came in with their eyeshadow palettes, you know, everybody was buying them and they would have the whole collections. I stopped. If I didn't want these pieces in the collection, I'm not buying it. Buy the thing you want and be done. The thing that you really want and be done. You know, I stopped doing that. Like ColourPop was also notorious. You're just like bringing more stuff into your collection. You don't even want it. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not. But if I'm going to get something useful like the cream gel eyeliners, okay, I'll do it because I know I'm going to use it. But just buying a bunch of crap to meet a $50 or $60 shipping limit and the thing I want only costs $15, I'm going to pay the extra $5 to $7 for shipping and dip out at $20 something versus dipping out at $50. Because it's asinine. It's like, oh yeah, you know, like cart full of $300 items and they charge $10 for shipping. You're like, oh no, that just messed it up. Like literally, sometimes we have to just like break ourselves with that mindset. Like, oh, well, the shipping's free. Now, if I'm at $45, oh, and it's $50, okay, I'll buy me something that fits within that price range where I don't have to go too far over and get my free shipping. Because at that point, it makes sense. But if the one thing, you know, ColourPop palettes did not cost that much money. If it costs $15, I'm not spending $50 to get the one thing I wanted. That also, like I said, it frees up money. And it might not seem like a lot, but the $50 here, the $50 here, $50 here. We already at $200. I said $50 4 times. It's $200. So that's something I stopped doing. Also, it's a game changer. Also, what I did, I still kept watching Trim Mood, and now I follow like Jamie Makeup on her radar. And I do like that. Like, I know like a lot of times it's like, oh, it's consumerism. Like, oh, you're just watching, you know, and now you're like thinking of things to buy. Like, yes. But a lot of times it helps me be organized as far as like what I'm going to present on this channel because I know what things are coming out. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, these 3 palettes are coming out at the same time. So maybe I'm not going to buy this one thing because I would rather have these 3 palettes. Or I would like to have this palette. This is coming out next week, but I was going to buy this week. I really wasn't that interested. It was cute, but I would rather have this item over having this item. So it keeps me from like overspending. I mean, at this point, my view is going to be a little bit more different because I have stuff in here that I'm reviewing for you guys, things that I'm kind of comparing to, and things I'm still enjoying the products. Like, yes, am I consuming stuff? But now when I buy things, I don't feel burdened. I don't feel like, oh my God, because I'm still saving my money. I still have like my other savings accounts and my life insurance plans that are like set up as, retirement accounts. I still got my one with my job, and I'm like, okay. And then like my other hustles and stuff like that, those are more like long-term plays versus like short-term plays, just so we're clear, you know what I mean? So they're more like, I'm going to see the benefit in like 2 years. So I'm like, yes, I'm good. You know what I mean? So, just like now I don't feel like, oh my God, I'm just buying. I spent all my money on makeup. So another thing, I also feel like, a lot of people talk about it now because they're like, you're just decluttering all this makeup. Like, maybe you need to declutter your collection so you can see what you have. It's just like when you go and clean out your closet or you clean out that drawer, you be like, dang, I did not know I had this. I didn't know I had this. Like, I'm over here buying this 2 and 3 times and I still had this. It was like one day I went underneath the sink. You can apply this to anywhere in your life. I went underneath the sink in the kitchen. I was like, how many spray cleaners do I need? I'm like, okay, I'm not buying no more spray cleaner. I think I just went to like, every time I went to Target, I'm picking up like some 409, I'm picking up Kaboom, I'm picking up Fantastic, picking up this. I'm like, I had like 6 bottles of spray cleaner and 4 of them were open and underneath my kitchen sink. So I stopped doing it. And I was like, I got more money because I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Also, stop buying backups. Like, if you're really into makeup, maybe you just come and watch me occasionally, but if you're really into makeup, stop buying a bunch of backups. You don't need them. Like, it used to be the sale, and I used to be like, oh, let me get like 2 of these or like 1 of these, extra. Like, if this pencil is not close to running out within the next like month and a half, not even within the sale. Like, so if it's a Sephora sale or Ulta sale or like Ulta has a coupon or whatever, because, they do their sales different. But if like Sephora has a sale and I have this pencil, y'all know I use this every day, right? And it's not going to run out in like the next 2-3 weeks, I'm not buying a backup anymore. I'm like, this is stupid. I can always go and run in the store and get this one thing I need and be done. Like, yes. Like, it's a couple, like the Urban Decay setting spray, I do usually buy that Christmas bundle, and it usually lasts me for the year because it's like 2 full sizes of the all-nighter setting spray for like the price of 1. So I usually do buy that. What is it? This year, I wanted to try the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray, and I wanted to try the Patches Star, the 1 size. So I was like, oh, I'm going to buy Travel just to try it. And then I looked at the price. Like, the Charlotte Tilbury was like, it was like a $6 or $7 difference between buying the full size and the Travel. I was like, let me just get the full size. Like, let's get more bang for your buck. If I don't like it, I don't have to buy it. But I literally stopped buying a bunch of backups because it was just sitting in the drawer. And then, you know what, we like makeup. So now like the newest, hottest thing has come out. So now you got to get that. So now you got all that stuff just sitting in the drawer that you're never going to use, So now, unless I'm like down to like the end of the product, like during the sale, that's the only reason I'll buy a backup. Otherwise, I'll reevaluate if I want to purchase that product again, or maybe just try something else that's been like hot on the market that grabbed my attention. And that's been a game changer. Also, like I said before, decluttering your collection. It can make you feel brand new. Get all that old, expired stuff you're never going to put on your face. Organize it. Put it somewhere that you feel like, I will grab this, I can see what I have, and I will wear different things. Of course, everybody has their default products, like, I'm going to wear this lipstick all the time. Everybody has that. But where you can go and be like, oh, I can do this variety. Like, oh, I forgot I had that product. So, like me, I film in my bedroom. So, I don't necessarily have infinite amounts of space to store my eyeshadow palettes. But it works out. They're up. They're not hanging all around. Like, I've worked out the storage, where it doesn't even, like, if somebody was coming in here, the only reason they wouldn't really know I have a lot of makeup is kind of like, what's going on with this setup? Because I stopped taking my YouTube setup down. But like, maybe if they looked here, they were like, oh, you just have a lot of stuff and some of these lipsticks. Otherwise, you don't know how many eyeshadow palettes I have. And I'm trying to just wear like all of my stuff. Like today I have on the Natasha Denona Retro palettes. I just have on the mattes. But sometimes when you declutter your collection, it's just like you kind of get like all of that. It's like, okay, I can see, like, oh my God, I forgot I had this such great product right here. Like, maybe I don't need to buy this other eyeshadow palette. Or you're like, things that you know that are priority brands, you're like, okay, when this comes out, I'm going to take a look. Like, one thing, if it was coming out right now, I could say right now, if Mama came out with a mothership, she did not give us a mothership last year. It's wild. Really wild, okay? When she gave us a mothership, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna drop my $120 and I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be excited. Or maybe I'll just wait a little bit, get on sale. Like things like that you know that you want to bring into your collection that are special. At this point in time, like everybody's gonna say, all makeup is good. All makeup is good. So it's just kind of like you have to do what you want to do for yourself. Like you have to ask yourself certain questions. You have to know how to kind of like just budget your money. If you feel like you're just buying too much and you're just blowing the budget, or find new ways to be happy with your collection, to be honest. Like, you know, you don't need everything. I know we're like pushing the environment, but it's not cute looking cute and you're broke. It just don't work, you know what I mean? Or when your friends be like, let's go here, you be like, well, I spent all my money. Or you're just kind of digging yourself in a bigger grave. Like everybody can do that with a number of things. It doesn't have to be makeup. But if it's like over consuming you, you know, like we look at some of these bloggers, they have so much makeup, or like I can think about Morgan Turner, but she gets so much in PR. And she literally says that, like, I saw her literally set up a table for like 4 or 5 friends, and they got to take like whatever they wanted with them. And I kind of do that to a certain degree too, because some things I get and I'm like, I can't even use that. But my cousin over here, she's fair skin, so she can use it. I give it to her. I set up little goodie bags for like my mom and my cousins and things like that, and just try to like operate that way, because at the end of the day, I only have one face. At the end of the day, I got too much eyeshadow, so I'm like, I need to use what I have and enjoy what I have. But the point is, you want to be able to enjoy what you have the flexibility to buy what you want to buy. But sometimes we got to do the little hard work first to get to the enjoyment part. So like sometimes we got to buckle down. We got to get those finances together. We got to clean out that closet, organize ourselves, and like take inventory in what we really have going on in our collections. So, and then it's just like a thing, you know, like if everybody's coming out with liquid blushes, do you need all 7 different brands of liquid blushes? No. Pick the brand that you like the most and get that. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be good at this point. Like even drugs, like Elf be killing the game. Elf said, we are here. You're going to take notice. And I love that for people who don't want to spend or maybe can't afford to buy higher end makeup. I love that. Or, yeah, you just don't want to. Like, so I know some people, they're like, I ain't spending that type of money on that. And they feel that about a lot of different things in their life. So I hope this video was helpful. And then just let me know if, like, you want me to talk about this some more, explain more parts. Like, I feel like I didn't want to, like, beat a dead horse and talk about, like, you shouldn't have this much, you shouldn't have that much. You do what works for you. But just know, at some point, there's overconsumption for everybody. You have to take in stock and like how that works in your life. But I feel like the way I have kind of gotten it down is like more from you know, space, me wanting to use my products and wear my products. Also, and like from my financial, that was one of the biggest guiding factors, was my finances, because I was looking at stuff and I was like, this don't make no sense. And I had to take this inventory before the economy was the way it is now. Like the economy is good, but it's not good. You know what I mean? But I had to take stock. I was like, it's no way that I make good money and don't have kids and I feel like I can't afford to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm in debt and all this other stuff. So everybody gets there. So don't be too hard on yourself. Just do the necessary work. So yeah, I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to come from like you shouldn't be buying this, you shouldn't be buying that. But sometimes we all have to be one, like, you don't need it. You don't need it, okay? So I hope this was helpful. So let me know down below, or any comments you want to share, any tips you want to give the community, put them down. This is like definitely a safe space. Like I told you, like I was out of control. I was like, sheesh. So leave me a big old thumbs up, hit the notification bell so you know I come back with another video, which will be soon, and subscribe to my channel because you know I would love to have you here in my little makeup family. And with that being said, you already know what time it is. It's time for the challenge. Hey, challenge. Hey. All right, y'all. Bye.